Hi, Bohan. Good evening. So this is a special program done by our Lorry Talks production. So there's a special guest, one of my friends and a researcher as well, academic from India. You are from Andhra,
Yes,
Mr. Bala Venkatesh Sankuratri.
yes.
How to pronounce that? आप कैसे हो?
ఎలా ఉన్నారు?
ఎలా ఉన్నారు?
Yeah,
ఎలా ఉన్నారు?
yeah, I'm perfectly good, and thanks a lot for calling to your studio, Mr. Bandara.
Okay. So, special program now we were discussing in our podcast. Actually, our main focus was on in Sinhala language
Okay,
and in politics.
okay,
But this is the first time we are doing in English,
okay.
as well as inviting a foreigner
Yes,
out of the country. The first time. So this is the first another step to our podcast as well. So you are a special guest in that way.
thank you for giving me that credit.
Okay. But when it comes to you, because we met last month in Jabalpur for this Ramayana conference as well, Indians were calling you Mr. Bala from Sri Lanka.
Yes,
Right?
yeah, yes.
What is this?
That is because they know that I'm from India. They very much know that I'm from India. But my research work is 90% connected to Sri Lanka. So anytime the topic comes on Ramayana, Ravana, and Sri Lanka, the first point of contact would be me. So they, even in their mobiles, so they save my name as Bala hyphen Ravana or Bala hyphen Sri Lanka. So they know that I'm an Indian. I live in Hyderabad, but they love to introduce me to on the international platforms as a person talking about Sri Lanka, and that slowly went Bala from Sri Lanka.
Okay. Now, when it comes to Ramayana, this Ramayana trail for tourism, or the Ramayana, the story, the epic story. So, from the Sri Lankan angle, we have a lot of history, a legend story about King Ravana, the legend, the empire. So, still we are doing research, minimum research is there, but still there's a local legend. So, you are the only person which I am interested to discuss today, because you are the only person who I got a researcher who's doing a research about Ravana and his kingdom and the location of Ravana's Lanka.
Yes.
Right? Because when it comes to Ramayana trail in the tourism sector, you know that Sri Lanka, we were bankrupt and we had an economic crisis 3 years back. So our main target is to encourage the tourism sector, the industry in Sri Lanka as well. So as the neighboring country, which is the closest, and having 1.5 billion people, the citizens there, everyone learns Ramayana from the childhood age. Yes. So we believe that encouraging Ramayana or encouraging Ramayana trail to the Indian tourists or the Indian citizens will give more chances to Sri Lanka economy to grow up.
Yes.
And more opportunity. So what is your narrative or what is your discussion when you find in the research how to encourage the Ramayana trail in Sri Lanka, and what are the findings you have found in Sri Lanka on this Ramayana trail? Is it a true story or it's a made up story?
Okay. Let us come first on whether it's a true story or a made up story. So, and is, like you said, how can you prove that this is the land of Ravana? So that will start off with, and that will slowly continue to how it can benefit to the economy and tourism part is concerned. So, like how Sri Lanka in nature, people of Sri Lanka in nature itself have a beautiful responsibility. I find Sri Lankans more responsible in preserving nature, preserving history, preserving herbal medicines, likewise preserving history as well.
Yeah.
So you have preserved Buddhism better than any other country in the world, no doubt about it.
Yeah.
So likewise, you have preserved Ravana stories also. Okay, so that is where it is Sri Lanka which made me turn into an author. It is Sri Lanka which made me turn into a researcher. So whatever visibility I have today in India is all because of Sri Lanka. Yeah. And I give the complete credit to Sri Lanka. I owe a lot to Sri Lankan people. So
you are doing the research in Sri Lanka almost 12 years now, no?
Yes. 14 years since I have first come to Sri Lanka. So I might have done a little more work before coming to Sri Lanka. 2012, it was me who, when I came first, searching for some content to know the story from the Sri Lankan perspective. So that's how I started the work. So that's how I started writing the books and all this stuff. So now coming to your question, is this story real or it's not real? I will tell you certain narratives and let you tell whether it is a true story or let the audience tell it is a true story or not. So in Ramayana, so after Sita being abducted, so Rama was in search of Sita Devi. So Rama is in search of Sita Devi, and then he comes to Sugriva, Hanuma. He meets them. There's some lot of conversation happens, lot of help exchange, all this stuff happens. Then Sugriva sends 4 teams to search Sita Devi. So first Rama asks, I need to know where is Sita Devi, first of all. Later on is all the thing. I need to know where she is. So to know where she is, there is a search expedition should happen, right? So what Sugriva does, he sends people into all 4 directions.
4 directions.
All 4 directions. Yeah. All 4 directions. He sends people. So and then in that now, as I'm telling, he's sending in the 4 directions. Now the description of the entire world's geography comes into picture. So I want you to imagine the India and Sri Lanka to be in the center. Now, if you see on the world map, you find India and Sri Lanka towards a little east. Yeah. So you push that into the center, which means you get the North and South Americas to the right side, right? To the right side you get. So that is where you see North and South America comes to the right extreme east and a little bit of cutoff in the extreme west. Yeah. You imagine the world in that way, that Sri Lanka and India are in the center. Now, as the narration comes, these people are already in Kishkinda, somewhere in South India. Okay? But the narration starts of his explanation not from Kishkinda. It will start from somewhere in the banks of Ganga. So when he is in Kishkinda, when he's sending the teams, why is the narration started from Ganga? And in the south direction teams, again, he'll cover the place where they're standing.
Okay.
So why is that?
The southern team.
Yeah.
Okay.
So in the southern direction, again, he'll tell you are now come to Kishkinda. Why is that? Because in that time, the understanding of a whole geography or understanding the center of the then political world map is considered somewhere in the center of Ganges banks is considered to be the center.
Okay.
So, and then he starts narrating. Now first he goes with the east direction. So I will tell you the chapter number also, you can refer it to.
So these are in the Valmiki's Ramayana?
These are in the Valmiki's Ramayana. See, for a proper research to be done, so you need to go with Valmiki Ramayana for various reasons. And secondly, he is the contemporary to the times of Ravana and Rama. He was living at that time.
At that time.
So he wrote while they were living. So that has to be taken as the most authentic text that you have to refer to when it comes to the story of any character in Ramayana. Okay. So including Ravana. So the description goes, he starts telling, you go in the eastwards, you'll find these kingdoms, these mountains, these rivers, and people in these kingdoms are like this, etc., etc. And then you further go, you find these kingdoms, these rivers, this kind of people, and you further go, you'll get into the waters. You go and you see these islands. So people are living in this style. They eat this. These are the eating habits. They look like this, like that. So in that explanation, he keeps going on. In that explanation, you'll find a beautiful description which very much matches with the Jarawas tribe and the Shomfins tribe in Andaman Islands, in the Andaman and Nicobar Islands. And then he further goes to Java Island. He explains about the Java Island as Javadvipam. And then he further tells these are the mines available. He talks about the huge Pacific Ocean. And then he goes to the other side, which is getting into the Americas. He talks about the American lands. It's not Christopher Columbus.
So that means that this was written, now we assume that this was written about 14,000, 15,000 years back.
Yes.
Not written, composed, right?
Composed, yes. Written or composed, and there is a lot of confusion on that. As of now, we'll take it as composed.
As your explanation, this region, where the Sri Lanka and India, the Indian subcontinent, which we believe that we had an ancient history, ancient civilization and knowledge about many things. So even in Buddhism also we learn about this Nalanda University likewise. So as your explanation that you are coming to a certain point where at that period the people in this region knows about the entire world map.
Yes, that's what.
So it's not Christopher Columbus who went to
Yes.
America.
No, yeah, that's
Yeah.
what I mean. It's not Christopher Columbus who went to America first. The knowledge of the Americas is very much documented in Valmiki
Valmiki
Ramayana.
Ramayana, yeah.
He mentions about a mark on the Peruvian lands. On the mountain, there is a mark which looks like a three palm trees standing on a platform, which is on a platform. I'll give you the sloka reference. That sloka and this Peruvian mountain mark, if you compare, he gives so beautifully comparison. And he says, you go till that mountain, you may search for a little more, and then come back. If you don't find Sita till there, you come back.
Yeah.
And this is the easternwards narration, which is in the Kishkinda Kanda, 40th chapter. 40th Sarga is what we say.
Yeah, okay.
40th Sarga. So 40, this is 40. 41 speaks about the south direction, where he speaks about Kishkinda, Lanka, all this stuff. Then he speaks about the west direction. Then he speaks about the north direction. He speaks about all the directions.
So all 4 directions he has explained about the perfect geographical map.
Perfect geographical map.
You mean about the people, about the mountains, about
the mountains,
living styles,
etc.
Mines,
rivers. He speaks about the rivers. He speaks about the kingdoms, all this stuff. So now
I have some point to just to interrupt.
yes, please, yes.
Now you start these all points were starting from Ganges.
Yes.
The
Ganges,
riverbed.
yes,
Yeah?
Ganga, yeah.
So why is that?
No, that is what. So that could be the then understanding of the whole geographical map could be somewhere starting from the banks of Ganga. So there are other references, not only in Valmiki Ramayana, there are other references of the whole geography of the ancient understanding of the geography. So like how we have the longitudes and longitudes marking today, they also have the understanding of the longitudes and longitudes.
Yeah.
But it was a little different from that of our understanding. It's the same grid, but the little difference of the understanding of the grid. That is where they have marked the location of Lanka very clearly in some of the texts.
Yeah, that's the interesting part you are coming.
Yeah, they have marked. That says it is on the zero. Now, how we say
Equator 00.
00. Now we said Sri Lanka is at this longitude, whatever the GPS pin you send, you have the longitude and longitude. So in the ancient understanding of the then geography, 0.0. Longitude 0 and longitude 0. 0.0, that point, that coordinate passes through the island of Rawana.
0.0.
0.0. So immediately the confusion comes. Today's 0.0 doesn't pass through.
Yeah, it is from the Greenwich and the equator somewhere.
So today's 0.0 doesn't pass through Sri Lanka. So immediately some vague ideas come on. Today 0.0 doesn't pass through Sri Lanka, so Sri Lanka is not Rawana Lanka. It's immediate some jump without proper reasoning. It may go to. So from where
for the people with that argument, so those people thinks that Ravana was under the British colonial.
Maybe yes. Yes, you are right. So I have seen some arguments. It is little. It's very silly argument. Some people say Sri Lanka got its name Sri Lanka only in the 1972. So before that it was called Ceylon.
1972.
Yeah, 1972. Yes.
But in our scripts, they have
the Lanka is there. Lanka is there. Yeah. Like how India is called Bharat, whatever name it was called.
India has multiple names. India has multiple kingdoms before British came, right? Yeah. So likewise in our scripts, they have mentioned Lanka, Lankapuram. Likewise, there are many names.
There are so many names. So there's so many names, and you will come to know how old is the word Sinhala mentioned also. How ancient the word Sinhala mentioned also will come to.
That is in Valmiki's Ramayana.
It was not in Valmiki's Ramayana. Basically, in Valmiki Ramayana, like how I told earlier, the whole geography was described. So now it is not a point whether they have actually searched all these places or not. Let us not get into that. Did they really search all these places? Whether they have not searched all these places, it is just a fiction or a non-fiction. Let us not go into that picture. Okay. But Valmiki has documented that.
Yeah.
And that is tallying with the today's geography. So, which means they have the knowledge on the geography. Point number one, that we have to note down. The second point, now I'll give an example with Surpanaka. Surpanaka has found Rama, Lakshmana, Sita Devi, etc. That episode has happened. Then she got hurt for XYZ reasons. Then she came to her brother Ravana
Ravana
and told in her way, whether it is true, whether it is not, what that is a secondary. She told her brother, and her brother Ravana went to bring Sita back to Lanka. He went back. So now at that time, Surpanaka didn't accompany Ravana.
Yeah.
That is clear. So Ravana went by himself. So now how did Surpanaka give the coordinates of the exact location? There is no GPS there, right?
Yeah.
So
Ravana didn't had a mobile phone.
Mobile phone, there is no GPS connection, there are no satellites.
Yeah.
What does it mean? So here there is a point what we need to understand. They have the knowledge of navigation. Point to be understood. So let us not go into how did he fly, how did you travel.
Yeah.
That is all secondary. Now, as a researcher, what you
are
need to understand.
coming to a great point now. Let's imagine now. These days we have the mobile phone and the GPS. Easily we can find a map,
Yes.
a location.
Yes.
But still we are hard to use the Google Maps, right? But when it comes to this stage, that means 14,000, 15,000 years back.
Yes.
The transportation method we'll not consider. We'll keep it apart. But we're finding the perfect location.
Yes.
That is your argument.
Argument, yes, yes. Now, if you ask any our travel guides or travel agent, ask them to put their mobiles off and ask them to go to Usangoda.
Even I can't. Even I can't. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what. But he has gone perfectly to the exact location and.
Supnaka came from India to Sri Lanka
Yes.
to tell Ravana about the incident.
It was not India. It was the then kingdom.
Then kingdom. Yeah.
It was under the rule of King Ravana himself. Where
Ravana,
Sita Devi was abducted, that was under the kingdom of King Ravana,
Emperor.
under the emperor, and under the administration of Surpanaka.
Supnaka.
Okay, so he went exactly. So which means they have certain navigation systems. So in the daytime, in the nighttime, if you want to navigate, you can see the stars and navigate. But in the nighttime, in the daytime, if you want to navigate, so what is the only way to navigate? You need to have the knowledge on magnetism. Without the knowledge on magnetism, daytime navigation is impossible.
Yeah.
Which means they also have the knowledge on magnetism, which
Magnetism and geography.
Geography. So they have a perfect geography, they have the magnetism, they have the navigation, which means they have some instruments like compass. They have some instruments which they have navigated.
14,000 years back.
14,000 years back. Okay, and if they have navigating with the compass-like instrument. If even today you take a compass or any magnetic device, not with GPS, just take with some magnetic device and start using that north as a reference and start going north of India, so or further north of the world, and you keep going north. Do you reach to the North Pole?
No.
You don't reach to the North Pole exactly. Because you reach to the geomagnetic North Pole because Earth's magnetic field is slightly tilted. So you don't go to the geographical North Pole. Instead, you go to the geomagnetic North Pole, which is slightly tilted. Now comes to the 0.0 arguments. Okay, so in certain ancient scriptures like Surya Siddhanta, and there are many other scriptures like Aryabhatiya, etc., it was said so on the longitude of those days, what is referred an imaginary line that passes through Lanka and the North Pole, cuts through the kingdoms of Avanti, Rohtak, and Kurukshetra.
Avanti, Rohtak, and Kurukshetra.
Basically, Rohtak and Kurukshetra are somewhere in the Haryana region of India, and Avanti is the Ujjain region, somewhere in the Madhya Pradesh of India. So, if you draw an imaginary longitude that passes through Lanka, that is Ravana Lanka, and the North Pole, that imaginary line cuts through these kingdoms, is what mentioned. Right? And in other parts, it's also mentioned on the latitude that passes through Lanka, divides the earth into two equal halves, is what which is mentioned. Okay. Now, if you take the modern understanding of the North Pole, which is the geographical North Pole, which is very recent developments from around 16th century, the concept of the geographical North Pole has started, and it is fine-tuned till the recent past, till the GPS and satellites have come. Okay, so fine-tuning is happening. So if you take the modern North Pole and try to draw a longitude that passes through those kingdoms and extend it further, it will not pass through Sri Lanka.
Yeah.
So immediately they get a confusion, is Sri Lanka Ravana or not? So instead of
They have this argument that that Ravana's Lanka was submerged by the sea.
somewhere. So that is because they have taken the
Geographical
North Pole, not the geomagnetic North Pole.
So British had many influence in India.
Yes, very, very much. So, and geomagnetic North Pole, geomagnetic poles, they are not constant. They keep changing. But the change is very minute for thousands of years. So there is a change from the Ramayana time to now also. But it is not predominant change. It is 14,000 years on a span of the geography or the history of the Earth's history. It is very small. 12,000 years for us as humans, it may be huge, or 14,000 years for us as humans, it may be huge. But for Earth, it is a small period of time. So, and that difference is very hardly minute. So, when we did the calculation, when I did the calculation, at the means basically in longitudes keep merging at the top. Means the distance between the longitudes at the equator is far, and when it keeps merging towards the poles. When it merged towards the pole, which means all the longitudes comes closer. So that difference is only 3.5 at the pole. So which is 0.08 and 0.08 and 0.06 is the difference which has come at the Sri Lanka. And both the points are falling in Sri Lanka itself.
Right.
So definitely in any way, Sri Lanka is Ravana Lanka. So when you are taking this
was explanation given by
me.
Yeah, I mean in the
other
character who's in the Valmiki's Ramayana.
No, this is from the Surya Siddhanta and Aryabhatiya and few other texts similar to that. There are many other ancient texts which gives the location of Lanka. So now
this was introduced now. The Sri Lanka at that time was introduced as Ravana's Lanka.
Ravana's Lanka, yeah. So it is many times the Sri Lanka or Ravana is also called as the king of Rakshasas. So in many times Sri Lanka is also referred to as Rakshasalaya. Rakshasalaya means head of the Rakshasas. That is also in few of the scriptures it is mentioned as. So
in Sri Lanka also we have this misunderstanding that early tribes in Sri Lanka, because Sri Lankan civilization, I do believe that it goes around 20,000 more years. We have to do the findings, but now only the matter we believe in this only text in Mahavansha as our written history, but beyond the Vijaya's arrival, the King Vijaya's arrival, Sri Lanka had much more history.
Right?
Yes. It's yet to prove.
Yes.
Right. So coming to this point, this Ravana's kingdom, these people not only controlling Sri Lanka, the island Sri Lanka, it was a union of island as well, according to these explanations.
Yes.
And they had these kind of knowledge, geography, navigation,
Yes.
magnetism, likewise.
Yes. They have a lot of knowledge, and
but the today people now, when it comes to these tribes, early tribes were mentioning as Yaksha, Raksha, Naga, and Deva.
Yeah.
Those are the 4 tribes we get to know from the history in the local legends.
Yes.
These are not actually in India. Also, I saw that some people say Raksha is a monster.
Right? You pointed very rightly. You say a lot of Indians say Rakshasa as the monster, no? So yes, I agree with that. No doubt, a lot of Indians have this.
No, even in Sri Lanka also people believe
that
Raksha is like Yaksh, the monsters.
Yeah.
Naga means we have a imaginary snake head likewise. But when it comes to the practicality, the nature of the world. So Raksha means the soldiers, likewise these people.
Exactly.
Yaksha means the manufacturers.
That definition now, like soldiers, what you told, no? That definition is there in Valmiki Ramayana.
Wow.
The definition of Rakshasas is mentioned in the Uttarakanda of Ramayana. So where the definition says like this, Rakshinchuvadu, Rakshashudu. I was telling in Telugu. Rakshinchuvadu, Rakshashudu, which means the person who protects is the Raksha. The person who Rakshaka. Yes, the person who is Rakshaka is Rakshasa.
In Sinhala we call Arakshaka. Right.
So that is Rakshasa.
Okay.
But later on, people see when they are more powerful. See why a common citizen is scared of a police. Police is there to help you.
Yeah.
But people are scared of a police. People are scared of a soldier. People are scared of a cop. So why immediately they get alert? So because that ferociousness is maintained by those people.
Yeah.
So in the same way, the Rakshasa have maintained that stature. So that's why people are scared of. That doesn't mean that they are bad people. So it means that they are the people who are having the duty
Defending
of defending
the
this,
country,
which means they are stubborn. So if you being scared, if you don't have any scare towards police, does the system work? System will collapse. If you don't have any scare towards police, the system
So
collapses.
the system was not introduced lately.
Ah.
As mean this feudal system where the king, these soldiers likewise. It was there in the ancient time
it
as
is
well.
definitely there. It is definitely there.
Good governance structure we have.
It is all we adapted from we have evolved from those governance structures only. So there were systems of having ambassadors and embassy officers during the Ramayana time also.
Yeah.
So it is very clearly mentioned that in the Ayodhya, there are officers or embassy officers of the various kings in Ayodhya. In Ayodhya. So see, basically the structure of the embassy is having countries
The nice in
happening.
Ramayana trail and Mahabharata also. This diplomacy works.
Diplomacy works. Oh, this is super. And I like our foreign affairs minister's comment. He once commented in that I see Hanuma as the greatest diplomat. So yeah, it is just true. It is like that actually. It is, and these people are not just that you read the Ramayana actually, so you feel you read the Ramayana means the original Valmiki Ramayana. You read this is very similar to the modern governing structure. It is how you feel. Hey, if it is not mythical. Even if I am today in that one of the character, even I will behave in the same way.
Yeah.
So it is so close to the even today's contemporary. It was so realistically written. Of course, it is poetically written.
Yeah. When it comes to the literature, now the imaginations of the person who's composing. Now in Buddhism, we use the Jatak Katha. That means Lord Buddha's past lives. Likewise, the ancient scripts which was composed, this Jatak Katha, Ramayana, then Mahabharata. Likewise, the earliest literature persons, the scholars, they were having this brilliant imaginary ideas.
Extraordinary imaginary. So I'll tell you one.
Yeah, the person who built this Bahubali and
Rajamouli.
I think he's just a small kid when compared to Valmiki.
I'll tell you. He did a great job, but Valmiki's imagination is extraordinary. I'll tell you one small instance that it will just. I think it will blow your mind. See, we all know that we heard everybody start saying, you need to understand a bit of how the Valmiki's writing style is in this. So we all see that Hanuma flew to Sri Lanka. Actually, Valmiki wrote Hanuma swam. He wrote in his Valmiki Ramayana, he swam. Okay, but Valmiki has this narrative style. So even he's not a monkey, he's a human being.
Yeah.
So okay.
That's a interesting to listen as well. These Vanaras.
Yeah, Vanaras. They are basically humans.
Yeah.
So Valmiki, in the Valmiki Ramayana, when Sugriva counters or sees Rama and Lakshmana for the first time, he was scared. He been sent by his brother who is hunting him actually. So he was worried. Is it because the Vali's people? Because he was a little confused because these Rama and Lakshmana are coming with the weapons.
Yeah.
But they are dressed like sages.
Yeah.
So he was confused. So then he sends his minister Hanuma, I'm a little worried about those people. Please go and check who they are. So when Hanuma started going, then and Sugriva calls Hanuma back again. You go in the normal form. Don't go in the Vanara form. So then, which means simply that they are the forest dwellers with those masks, like a monkey or a monkey tail or etc. Those are the gear what they put it on. So even
some
today,
kind of attire.
Some kind of attire. So that's all. So even today in Telangana, we have a tribe who wear the horns. So the minute they come out from their huts or from out their house, they come in that attire. So you don't see them without the horns generally when they are in the public.
Yeah.
So even the Jarawas, when in the Andamans, they mark their body. The whole top body is marked with stripes. So it is referred to in Valmiki Ramayana that they are like half tigers and half humans. So they come only in that attire. You don't see them different. So if you have to portray them, if you have to narrate them, if you have to document them, so you document them with the horns.
Yeah.
So you document Vanaras with the gear. So and in Ramayana, the Jambavan is also the bear king is also mentioned as Vanara. All these are mentioned as Vanaras. Basically, they are forest dwellers. Forest dwellers with a particular tribe who are having a gear or a costume.
Yeah.
If you observe, this Hanuma and Sugriva, Vali are Angada, all these people are mentioned with the monkey looking style. But their women at the house are
Yeah, they're
shown
pretty,
as
yeah,
pretty
yeah,
beautiful
women, normal
women or
yeah.
apsaras, beautiful angels like that. So does that mean the monkeys are getting married to humans? No, it is the gear what they put it on.
Yeah.
And the Valmiki's narration style, he initially tells who they are. He tells he's a human, he's wearing a gear, and because someone is coming, you remove the gear and go as a human. That part is mentioned. Afterwards, after
When
that,
he's coming to Sri
rest
Lanka.
of the rest of the narration, not only is the rest of the narration. So the introduction is given that they are humans, they are wearing the gear. But after the wearing the gear, they look like monkey. So he continues his later part of the narration as monkeys. Vanara.
Yeah.
So somehow the Vanaras means the bears are also there, monkeys are also there. Anybody who is dependent, even the humans are there. Anybody who is dependent on the Vana, that is forest, is called as Vanara. Okay, so but somehow that monkey relation has become more popular and that is gone. Now, even while he is coming to Lanka, Sri Lanka or Lanka, Ravana Lanka, the narration is very clearly given. It was a night time. He is swimming. So he gives that narration. It was the night time. It was not the daytime flight. It was the evening time and the night time travel that he made to Sri Lanka. So Hanuma, now is the ocean wide, lot of stars in the sky, and they are reflecting in the waters,
Ocean,
in the ocean. The ocean looks like
the
sky because it is water and the stars are reflecting, and this guy is swimming. So that he looks as if he's flying in the sky, and he moves in the water as if he's flying. See, like a butterfly, he's moving. That strokes are also mentioned. So he says that he's swimming as if he's flying, and from then on he continues saying he's flying. So initially he gives the
natural incident was later put into a literature.
Yes, basically he wrote poetry. So
Yeah,
you cannot expect a poetry to be when you say when you tell a girl your eyes are looking like the lotus petals. It doesn't mean that really her eyes are like lotus petals. Then she'll be very ugly.
Yeah.
So it is the comparative way of telling, and you cannot take it literally.
Yeah.
There are many things where they take it literally and get confused.
The confusion happens in most of the earliest literature and the scripts. I think that there's one person in between who drew these drawings, the images. For an example, the Ravana's Danumondra. It's now the image what we have in our subconscious. It is like a modern plane, modern airplane.
Yes.
But at that time, the technology was much different.
Might be
right?
completely different. Yes.
So, likewise, the in-between person, there's an in-between individual who has come up with a new image.
New image.
Yeah.
Yes.
So when Hanuma is coming to Sri Lanka, we are telling that he swam the ocean. So at that time, the Sri Lanka and India were much more closer, or it was connected by land, or what?
I'll tell you. So now let us keep Hanuma for a side a little. So if you go back into in a more scientific way, if you see, so the land of India and Sri Lanka were always connected. So
we were divided from I think from the
continental drift theory.
Yeah.
So basically, most of the land, most of the land was concentrated to the South Pole, and they started drifting towards north. And as they are drifting towards north, the Indian plate, means the Indian Sri Lankan plate, got broken with the African plate, and they started moving further. And then the Madagascar is left over, and then Australia moved towards the other side.
Yeah.
And this India and Sri Lanka plates were moving up, and they hit the Eurasian plate. So and then the young fold mountains formed, that the Himalayas were formed. All this stuff. This is way before during the time of Cretaceous, and it's millions of years
Millions
of
of years,
journey. So India and Sri Lanka are always together, and there is no water between India and Sri Lanka. It was all connected.
Yeah, first time.
Yeah, it was all connected. So how did the water come into between India and Sri Lanka? This is another argument what I find on the internet, that there was no water in between India and Sri Lanka once, for various reasons. Even if you see the water levels keep going down as you go into the past. So even in that case, the water, there should be land between India and Sri Lanka. So when India and Sri Lanka does not have water, when it has land, where is the question of building Ramasetu first of all? So that's why also there is a confusion in India. So whether it is Rawana Lanka or not. So now the answer is they both are connected. So yes, there was land in between India and Sri Lanka. There is no water in between India and Sri Lanka. And the oldest text that gives this reference that there is land in between India and Sri Lanka was Valmiki Ramayana itself. The context comes when Vishwamitra, so who is one of the teacher of Rama and Lakshmana, so when he takes these kids, when Rama and Lakshmana were kids and the teenagers basically, so when he takes them to teach various things in the forest, and during that time he teaches many things. Likewise, when he's teaching many things, he start teaching these kids about the history of their ancestors. So, Mr. Rama, Mr. Lakshmana, this is what your history is. This is how it. So he talks about the Ishwaku dynasty. In that process, he talks about a king called Sagar. So, which means Ramayana has documented history of their earlier times also. Okay, so we are talking about the Sagar, who was a king in the Ishwaku dynasty way far before Rama and Ravana. In those days, okay, way far before Rama and Ravana. For some reason, he wanted his people to dig the land at various places.
In between Sri Lanka and India.
Various places.
Okay.
Various places. Okay. So not only in between India and Sri Lanka, various places. So the references comes multiple times. First comes in the Valmiki Ramayana, there are multiple sessions. So first in the Balakanda section, this reference comes. This is when the Vishwamitra is teaching. It comes in Balakanda. It says he has dug in multiple places, of which one of the place has the association with water as the digging happened. Whether this association with water and digging happened is between India and Sri Lanka or not is not clear in this session. But that reference is there. Okay. Next comes in Sundarakanda, the second reference comes when Hanuma is traveling to Lanka. So then the Sagara, the water. Not Sagar, not the king.
Yeah.
The Sagara starts thinking to himself, I need to help this guy because he is going in support of that particular family. That is Rama. Why I have to support? Today my presence here in this place is because of the digging made by that family. Is the literally he's telling, Valmiki is telling this story through poetry. So which means he's telling that this place was having land before, it was dug up, and because of which the water has come. This is the second reference. The third reference comes, there is called Mainaka mountain. Again, it is a beautiful understanding. So the conversation happens between Hanuma and these Mainaka mountains, where Mainaka says, you are going on so-and-so person's work. So you can take rest if you wish to. Hanuma says, no, I don't have time to rest, and he'll move forward. So you can take rest. I want you to help you. Why I want you to help you is because this Sagara, the water, asked me to help you. Why he asked me to help you? Because the very presence of him is because of the digging made by the ancestors of the person to whom you are helping. Helping. So the digging happened, the water got extended. This is the third reference. Then comes the fourth reference in Yuddhakanda, before the war. Vibhishana comes towards the Rama side.
Yeah.
So at that time, Sugriva and Hanuma asked Vibhishana, so any idea of how can we make this entire army pass and go on to the other side? At that time, Vibhishana says, there was no water here before. It was because of your Rama's family only the water has come, the digging happened. So later on the water has come. So this is the fourth time. And then the fifth time, Nala, who is the construction engineer, he says, so the water has come here because of the digging happened by your family members only, Mr. Rama. So it's not once, not two, not twice.
So there are 5 references.
Five
we have
references.
mentioned, yeah.
So Valmiki is now what we need to, as a researcher, what we need to understand is generally no author will repeatedly tell the same thing again and again. It will be very boring text. To a certain text, when you don't, if you're not into that research element, no, sometimes you feel boring in Valmiki Ramayana because he talks about one subject, suddenly he'll get deviated, he'll go to somewhere else, and from there he'll go to somewhere else. And after
Again
3-4 chapters, he'll come back.
Yeah.
In between, you will be lost. So why is he is particularly telling these many times, which means he is registering the history of that geography of that piece of land. So which that is the reference comes. Now let us start thinking on the modern times. If there was land before, and there's no water there, which means there are some rivers, or rivers or streams should also be flowing from that side of the land to this side of the land, which means from India to the modern Sri Lanka also there should be some rivers and channels, water streams should be flowing. Yes, in the recent surveys conducted by the National Institute of Oceanography, I have few scientific papers what I've read, so that I've quoted in my paper also. In that there are references that under the seabed there are water channels of the rivers and flowing, which is tallying to that. And now,
that was introduced by your new research paper as well, right?
Yes, it was introduced in my new research paper. So, and then there is something more interesting coming here. And then the Ramayana is being retold multiple times, as Valmiki has written it. There are multiple times this story is being retold again and again and again and again and again. So, after many thousands of years, after Valmiki has written, Vyasa is the Vyasa Maharshi is the one who wrote Mahabharata and Bhagavatam, all this stuff. So
that is after that is
during the time of Krishna.
Yeah, that's 7,000 years.
Yeah, 7,000 years back approximately. So during that time, when in Mahabharata, there were instances where the Ramayana is quoted.
Related, okay.
Ramayana is quoted. So in that place, Vyasa, in that part, he also again repeats that was Sagara has dug many places, and thus because of the digging, the water has come, because of which these group of islands are formed. This group of adjacent islands are formed.
Then in Mahabharata also they referred it as Ravana's Lanka, or
Ravana's Lanka, yes. This adjacent multiple group of islands are formed. So he is referring to Sri Lanka as not a single island. He is referring to Sri Lanka as the group of islands or a union of islands. In this union of islands, then he starts naming them. So earlier in Ramayana, it's
that means now in the geography we will say now Mannar is island, Jaffna is some kind of there are
the whole Jaffna is an island, Mannar is an island.
Actually, Sri Lanka is not a one island; it's a group of islands.
So in all the ancient texts, this part is referred to as a group of islands. It's only now we started calling it as an island instead of calling it as a union of islands. In this place, this group of islands, one of the islands' name is Sinhala Dvipam.
Sinhala Dvipam.
Yes. And this is in a 7,500-year-old text.
So, you mean that one island is Sinhala Dvipam and the Mahabharata is 7,500 years old?
In Mahabharata, it is mentioned that the digging happened during the Ramayana time is the reason for forming of this group of islands. And this group of islands has these names. And one of the islands' name is Sinhala Dvipam. Which of that island, let us leave it away.
Yeah.
But Sinhala is mentioned minimum 7,500 years old.
So at least
if Mahabharata is 7,500 years old and they mentioned Sinhala as one of the island, which means Sinhala might have been existed at least 500 years before that.
Yeah.
So
at least.
Yeah. At least. So how old is Sinhala language then? At
least 8,000 years.
At least 8,000 years. 7,500 years to at least 8,000 years is the Sinhala language. Now, if as a country, as Sri Lankan country, if we are able to tell that proudly, which also means that Sri Lanka is telling to the entire world, not to India, entire world, we are one of the oldest civilizations on the earth.
Yeah. Now these two epics, I mean the scripts, Ramayana and Mahabharata, as you said, now we can conclude that Sri Lanka had a much more civilization.
Much more civilization. No doubt about it.
So with our time
done.
I think this part we have to come again and discuss about the Sinhala Deepam and the other scientific research we have done,
Definitely.
and what we are going to do in the future to
Definitely.
uplift the Sri Lankan tourism and help our people to gain more economic benefit out of this Ramayana and this literature. So, for a small invitation, Mr. Bala came to our studio and recorded this podcast. On behalf of our organizing team, I'm thanking you very much
Thanks.
for
Thanks a lot,
your
Mr. Bandara.
better and good explanation done towards our country's history.
Thanks. It's my
Thank
pleasure.
you. So next day we'll talk about this Sinhala language and the history of Sinhala civilization.
Definitely.
Thank you.
Yes. Thank you.